You're still in it all? Alright, yeah, do your thing, do your thing. Peace, Mars, let's start it up. Yeah, let's do it. Sorry, no, that wasn't you, it's alright. Islam, face the east. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace, Moors, out here again. We'll just start up with our readings for every meeting. Can you hear me over there? I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive the reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now, by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That's why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple. Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving. And they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. So today we're gonna read through Dr. John L. Johnson, The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. Small as it's not too big, you know. It's a small one, but it's almost like they took, like he took a lot of the stuff from ancient and modern Brits and compiled all the Moorish facts almost. It's like something like that, because he references that book a lot in here. So this is on page 5. The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. The first dynasty of Scotland was called Alpin Dynasty, A-L-P-I-N, ruled by the Picts, P-I-C-T-S, who were described to be short, pygmoid, dark-skinned people. The first ruler of the Alpin dynasty was Moorish Kenneth MacAlpin, 843 to 858. The Scottish archaeologist David McRitchie stressed that during the 10th century, Alpin, the father of Kenneth MacAlpin, was a half-black Pict and a half-black Scotch, whose son Kenneth was the first to merge the two foremost branches of blacks in Scotland. Kenneth MacAlpin was also called Niger Valdub. Niger Valdub. Nor. Right? So we'll go to the we'll skip some, and we're just gonna go to the vocabulary and read some of the words in here and their meanings, so we can see where he's going. Alba, A-L-B-A. Alban, A-L-B-A-N. A white-looking Negro. An albino, a country. Alpin, A-L-P-I-N. A black, a Negro, or more. The word Alpin goes back farther than recorded history. The name Alpin or Alpine has recently inherited new definitions. This one, you see it, right? So they say Alpin, A-L-P-I-N, which is Kenneth Alpin, the first ruler of the Alpin dynasty. And then also with that they have Alpine, right? And then the flag with the pine tree on it, Lebanon flag with the pine tree on it, and that connection to the Moorish history and the culture. Black, very dark or more. Celtic, an ancient black race of Europe, a Moorish people. Cined, C-I-N-A-E-D, handsome, born of fire. Anglicized Kenneth. The name was popularized by the African black Moors of Scotland. Dark, black, a Negro or a Moor. Delono, D-E-L-O-N-O, a healthy black or Negro man or more. Donovan, a black or brown warrior or more. Donnell, a short form of Donald, meaning black one or more. Donnelly, a brave black or Negro man or more. Donald, black Negro or dark-skinned warrior or more. Dougal or Dubgal, D-U-B-H-G-H-A-L-L, black or Negro or more. Dooley, D-O-O-L-E-Y, a black or dark hero or more. Doug, black Niger, or Negro, a short form of Douglas, a Moor. Dougal, a son of a black stranger, a Moor. Douglas, black Negro or Niger, derived from the word dub, glaze, meaning a black, a Moor. Doyle, black, a stranger derived from the word dubgal, a Moor. Dow, or dove, D-O-W or D-O-V-E, black complexion, Niger, hair or Negro, a Moor. Black complexion, derived from the word dub, meaning Dow or Negro, a Moor. Down, D-O-W-N, black, Niger, or Negro, a Moor. Down with the E, black, Niger, or Negro, a Moor. Duana, D-U-A-N-A, the little black one, derived from the word dub, meaning black, Niger, or Negro, a Moor. Duana, black, a Moor. Dub, black, Niger, or Negro, a Moor. Dubhan, the little black one, derived from the word dub, meaning black, Niger, or Negro, a Moor. Dublin, originally called Dub, meaning black or black pool. Dudley, black, Negro, a Moor. Duff, a black, a Negro, or a black face, derived from the word dub, meaning black, a Moor. Duff goes back farther than recorded history. Duffy, a black or a black-faced, derived from the word dub, black or Negro, a Moor. Dun, D-U-N, D-U-N-N, black, Negro, swarthy or very dark, a Moor. Durham, a black or Negro man, a Moor. And then we think about Durham, and then Durham's a Moor. Dwayne, the little black one, a Moor. Grim, a Negra, or black, a Moor. James, Hamish, a derivation of Ham, meaning black-colored, Niger, or Negro. The Spanish name Diego also means James, a Niger or a Moor. Right, so that was the vocab of all the different names. All the different names.
That reminds me, isn't it Dundas Street they want to change?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm good. Oh yeah, yeah. Done, yeah. Huh? Which one? Donovan? Oh yeah, that. Oh, and also Davin, D-A-V-I-N, D-A-V-A-N, or D-A-V-E-N, little black one or more. He said ready. Yo, chillin'. Huh? Oh, this is the Negro rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. Dr. John L. Johnson. Yeah, I'm straight. Yeah, you can pass it around. Oh, and another thing too with this book, the footnotes are a killer in this book. All the footnotes are, you know, a few paragraphs. Majority of the footnotes are a few paragraphs. So this is the first. This is the third footnote, page 8. Yeah, from page 7. Queen Elizabeth I was famous for painting her face white to hide her dark skin, an unbroken custom by many black women to look white. Her mother, Anne Boleyn, was a beautiful, black-skinned, black-eyed, dark-haired woman who didn't look British. She had a long neck and wide mouth. Her dark features showed her to be of African descent. The nursery rhyme, London Bridge, was written in honor of the Black Queen's rise and fall, later reworded My Fair Lady. There were many black-skinned Englishmen, Scotchmen, and Irishmen, such as Alan I, the first Black Earl of Richmond, Alan III, the fourth Black Earl of Richmond, Guy Beauchamp. The Earl of Warwick was so black that he was called the Black Dog of Arden. There were others like Sir James Douglas, the Black Douglas, Fulk III, the Black Count of Angevins, Gun, the Black Son of the Olav, the Black Norse King of Man, Henry, the Black Duke of Bavaria, the Black Hugh, Dub O'Neill, Earl of Tyrone, James Stewart, the Black Knight of Lorne. The pirate Blackbeard was a very dark-skinned man. The great doctor, lover, and pirate Peter Blood was a handsome black-skinned Irishman. He was portrayed in Captain Blood by Errol Flynn. The 12th century writer Sylvester Cambrensis described Hugh de Lacy, the Earl of Ulster, as having a dark complexion with sunken eyes and flat nostrils. The great Spaniard and lover Don Juan was a black man, and so was the great French lover Giacomo Casanova. The white peasant blood slowly spilled into the royal Negro Moorish blood following the French Revolution of 1789. The Negro royal blood also fused into the royal houses of early Northern Europe. However, following the 18th century, the once known and accepted knowledge of Europe's Negro royal admixture has been quietly hushed and secretly tucked away from the pages of history. There wasn't one nation in Europe that was free of a Negro blue blood superior rule, a supremacy that ended following the French Revolution. Every painted portrait of Europe's royal families was of Negro ancestry. Every painted portrait of Europe's royal families was of Negro ancestry. They were black-skinned African Moors who paraded their dark skin as a badge of honor, pride, privilege, and royalty. It was not unusual for lighter blacks and whites to walk around in blackface in order to look more upper class. Many of today's images of the black rulers of Europe are falsely propagandized as white people. Their portraits have been whitened, in brackets distorted, or merely invented to give a fake impression of Europe's earlier rulers. Every European museum has overpainted 99% of black portraits with fake white skin color. The remaining lost or hidden dark-skinned portraits, when found and exposed to the public, are falsely identified to have looked black because of poor upkeep, outright negligence, or the portrait itself was exposed to a horrific fire. How absurd, since the prime objective is to cover up evidence that Europe was once ruled by a dark-skinned African Moorish royal people. When slavery began in 1441, every nation of Europe was ruled by a royal house of Negro ancestry. Anybody have any thoughts before we go on?
It's interesting how you said they painted their face black to make it more upper class. Okay? And now today,
right?
Today's time, people look at it like, yo,
they're racist. They're racist when they're trying to be upper class. Flip the script. Crazy, right? Flip the script. Slavery ended in England under two Moorish Negro kings, George III and his son George IV, or George VI, when the American colonists fought against Great Britain for its independence, little did the people realize that England's George III was of African Moorish descent through the bloodline of Kenneth the Niger, Dub, Black, Duffy or Duff, who was a descendant of Scotland's first dynastic king, Kenneth MacAlpin, Niger, Val Dub, Duffy, Duff or Black. In ancient times, if an individual other than a priest pronounced the sacred letter N or the word Ni, Nai, or Niger, he or she was publicly put to death because of its divine reverence. The N-word, same Niger, N-I, or N-I-G-E-R. Thereby to avoid the usage of the letter N or the word Nai, Ni, N-I, or Niger, the Ethiopian and Egyptian priests substituted the letter N or the word Ni or Niger for Om, Am, HM, Him, Ham, or Black, which later became known as Omen, Amen, Hamakam, Ham, Om, Elohim, Eloham, Elohim, Hu, Shem, Sham, Por Ash, El Shaddai, Adonai, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, God, etc. When the term
so that's all coming from
from Niger,
yeah.
from N-I, N-I-G-E-R,
Yeah.
or the letter N,
Okay.
like that letter itself,
Yeah.
right? Thereby to avoid the usage of the letter N or the word N-I or N-I-G-E-R, the Ethiopian and Egyptian priests substituted the letter N for or the word N-I or Niger for Om or Am, O-M or A-M, meaning H-M, Him, Ham, or Black, which later became known as Omen, O-M-E-N, Amen, A-M-E-N, Hamakam, Hamakum, Elohim, Eloham, Elohim, Hu, H-U-E or H-U, Shem, Sham, Ham for Ash, El Shaddai, Adonai, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, God, etc.
Funny, because N is the only letter that you touch with your mouth and your tongue, right?
And the only letter that what?
You touch the roof of your tongue, the roof of your mouth and your tongue.
And
I think I remember a lecture, like a lecture, about how that sound is a certain sound, a special sound. Where your mouth is like a bridge between the top of your head and the rest of your body, and your tongue is connection.
yeah,
And then everything that's going on mentally to the rest of the body.
right.
And then the only other letter that touch your mouth and your tongue is L.
Yeah.
But everything else is a T code. L is Allah, right? And N is so N and L, right?
Yeah.
L is like the front of your mouth, but the N is like the back of your mouth.
And L. Yeah. It's further back. Yeah.
Which is because I
That's
just think
crazy.
in the lecture you said that about how that spot is like a special spot.
Yeah. That little dent, that indent right there. Yeah. Like the roof. Yeah.
When you meditate, a certain type of meditation, the highest form of meditation is putting your tongue there and
Yeah. Right.
trying to maintain that. Like a high form of meditation.
Yeah. The only time, when the term Niger is uttered, it is merely an old expression meaning, Master, you are my God. I am here to worship you. When the term Niger is uttered, it is merely an old expression meaning, Master, you are my God, I am here to worship you. The only time the name nigger, N-I-G-G-E-R, shouldn't be applied is when used in vain. The letter N is also altered to N-E, N-A, N-U, N-U-N, N-O, N-Aman, No-Aman, Re, Ra, Atumre, Atumra, Amen, Ham, Yam, I am, God Elohim, God Eloam, God Yahweh, God Jehovah, etc. So just from N. Every religion's God and everything came into manifestation just from N. In retrospect, the Ethiopian and Egyptian Bible, which is the world's oldest found written book, the holy letter N is the first and oldest recorded divine letter to identify a universal God. The Ethiopians and Egyptians call the deity N a dark, watery abyss from which all things evolve. They also call the divine letter N, NG, NGR, and NGER. It was millenniums later, after the Greeks had invented the vowels, by which the African supreme god NG, NGR, or NGER became universally known as NIG, NEGER, and NIGER, which centuries later became the Hebrews' Elohim, Europe's God Jehovah, and Muhammad's Allah. The divine letter N has various spellings, such as IN, EN, END, etc. The first three words mentioned in the Western Bibles are in the beginning, which is actually saying nigger or Niger, the beginning. Since in the ancient godly letter N, meaning Niger and night, the words IN and EN are also spelled II and EL, since the word Hebrew letter L is also exchanged for N. Yeah. Yep. Also, as a reminder, the divine letter N is the first letter to represent a supreme ruler of the Ethiopian, Egyptian, Hebrew, European Bibles. This factor is overlooked in English and translated Bibles because the letter N is camouflaged or cloaked in the spelling form of IN instead of its earlier natural form N. There is a rallying cry by the misinformed to remove the word Niger, nigger, from the pages of history. Yet, if such demand is ever accomplished, then what justification would the misinformed to remove this same holy word from the Bible? Acts 13:1. Any comments or questions thus far? Going straight.
So the letter N, I think that has a lot to do with like the Moors in the Philippines, how like a lot of their last names have like N in it. So I think you're not supposed to pronounce it.
Oh yeah, it
It's like
could
N,
be.
and then like the letter after you're supposed to pronounce that.
For real.
Yeah, you're right. And it's the same thing with Nigeria, something like that.
For real, huh? Probably, yeah.
Or like if you look at a lot of like moral doctors or whatever,
Yeah.
like it's like Gaian or something like that, but it has like an N in the front. And it looks like it's pronounced the Gaian, but it's not.
Okay, yeah, but the end silent. Yeah.
Yeah, add on to that, even in Zulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the N's in front of the word, but you're not supposed to pronounce
But you don't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
For real. Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely confirmation of what they're saying, the power of the letter. Yeah. That's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
also, too, like, talking about the waters of the moon, and you mentioned that part of it.
Yeah.
And that letter is where it comes from. It's like, it's not even the reason that it's associated with darkness, is because it says it's the darkness that everything comes from.
Yeah.
Darkness. And also night, like N-I-G-H-T.
Yeah.
That's not actually black.
Yeah.
A lack of
Yeah.
light. That's
Yeah.
It's an abyss. It's like you can't.
Right.
As opposed to like a dark night, an accent. That's sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It resembles that, but no.
It's not that. Yeah. Yeah. It's a different thing. And even when you think about that too, with the whole conscious thing, relating those as if they're the same, black and darkness,
Yeah.
as if they're relative when they're two separate entities. Yeah.
Black, you can relate it to gray. But you can't relate darkness to any color, any shade, any nothing.
Yeah.
Gray, nothing. Darkness. It's not gonna be anything other than what it is.
Our people are doing that though. They're comparing themselves. They're so like proud of who they are. They're comparing themselves. Don't you see we come out of darkness?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so they compare themselves to that. Right? But you said it's not that, right?
Come out of darkness, then you are the nigga.
Yeah.
You said,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Niger.
You are the Niger.
You know what I mean? When it's
Yeah.
spoken, it means what does it mean?
Uh,
God, I worship you.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. We gotta put that one again. When the term Niger is uttered, it is merely an old expression meaning, Master, you are my God, I am here to worship you. And they get mad when they get called nigger. Are you mad?
Wait for the next one, yo.
Call me nigger. I just called you nigger. Why are you happy? I'm happy. Say it again. Fergus Moore was a descendant of the Gaelic Milesian race, which originated from a second Egyptian Scotia who married the Gaelic leader Milesius. Mel of Milesius means black. They had several sons from whence descended Fergus Moore, whose blood and lineage brought about every Scottish ruler. Every Scottish ruler. Fergus Moore. The Scottish historian McRitchie stressed that individuals using the name Moore and various spellings of the name was of Moorish descent. In the Greek Septuagint and Geneva Bibles, in Zephaniah 2:12, the African Ethiopian is identified as a Moor, the same as M-O-R, M-O-H-R, M-A-U-R-O, or M-O-R-I-A-N, meaning Negro. The name Ferguson, is a popular name among black Americans. The Septuagint and Geneva Bibles said the Ethiopians are identified as Moors, Moros, and Morians. The ancient Alpine religion, which was called Celtic and Druidism, was characteristically a Negro Canaanite ritual called Baalism or Hamism. Druidism, which also promoted the one God worship, had existed long before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, by which many Jewish, Christian, and Islamist values are borrowed. Christmas tree, Easter. The Canaanite chief god El, or El Elyon, also called the Most High God, was adopted by the Hebrews. Many of the blonde and red-headed Vikings were black-skinned Africans who conquered and ruled Scandinavia. They resembled the blonde and red-headed Negro Aboriginals of Australia. Red and blonde hair is also found among some unmixed Africans. There remain many kinky, red-headed people living in Ireland and Scotland. Many Western scholars recognize Malcolm I, grandson of Kenneth MacAlpin, and his second son Kenneth II as the great royal ancestors of today's Queen Elizabeth II. Yet these same scholars, because of their personal prejudices, have totally ignored Malcolm's first son, the brilliant Kenneth the Niger, who was more popular, glorified than his father Malcolm, sibling, and many preceding kings. Western academians continue to downplay Kenneth the Niger for several reasons. His military skills surpassing his great-great-grandfather, Kenneth MacAlpin Niger, his audacity to resist outside invaders, including family members, to unite Scotland, and his African, Alpinic, Negro, Moorish blood that flows in the veins of today's European royal families. The House of Windsor, who have genetically bleached themselves white, are descendants of Kenneth the Niger. These and many other reasons are why Anglo historians have erased his history impact from the pages of history. So, and then if all these European family goes back to when our people ruled those places, you could see why, you know, they went so hard with the rise of the Moors to try to get people to not look at this at all. Because you look at this a little bit and you're gonna find that there's Moorish history and everything. Like, it's there. You can't deny it. There's enough information, like, you know, select books that we can pull out from. You go to all these different Moors and they got their libraries, and you're pulling out select books that's gonna have extensive history about just Moorish culture, you know. And the attack on it is through the whole residential schools, whatever. The attack on it is on the whole public school system, where they're not teaching them the right info. The attack is from the churches, from all the different religions that have, you know, like you're saying, certain language. You got the silent N that is speaking volumes to our people and how we should be looked at and how we should be treated, and you know, in relation to where we are in the world as a people. It's crazy. There's no way that our people could be this behind You know, when all this information is out here proving the status that we had and what we gave to everybody else that they used that has them prominent today. Everything that they got is from what it is our ancestors did. Right? Hawk? You had something more?
No, I was just going to say that to me, what I think I've most realized is that it's our absolute denial of, or the not wanting to accept who we are. We're in denial of it. We keep wanting to call ourselves something else, so obviously we're not going to get any of the benefits of that.
Yeah. Yo, Hawk just came to verify. Hawk showed up to verify. Yeah. So if you didn't hear, if you're late, we're reading from the Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. Dr. John L. Johnson.
But to add on to what you're saying about, like, there's no way that we're so far behind.
Yeah.
I was dealing with my fam the other day and talking about how I ran into a pastor. I was just bringing it back up, how I ran into a bishop. And long story short, he just told me, I remember him telling me, plain saying that what you're doing is great. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right path. But it's just a bishop telling you this, right? The bishop's telling you this, right? Bishop, more with the fez on, right?
Yeah.
So to add on to what you're saying as to why we're so far behind, guys like him, his context, like, he's a bishop, he's a overseer, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason. Yeah, guys like him.
Worse than it.
Huh?
Yes, freaking look, he can tell you that.
No, he would never tell me that. You know what I mean? He would never tell me that in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
No.
Never.
Yeah.
It's a one-on-one thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The name Canmore originally meant Great Niger, since the suffix more of Canmore means Black Negro Niger. The Scottish historian McRitchie stressed that individuals using the name Moore and various spellings of the name was of Moorish descent. After all, Malcolm III was a descendant of the Moorish Kenneth Niger. Malcolm III, who was also called Malcolm Senmore, is the 26th great-grandfather of Elizabeth II. In Scottish and Irish, the word Moor, M-O-R or M-O-R-E, also means big, large, important, tall, high rank, hard work, familiar, and admiration, whereas in Scandinavian, Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian, Moor means mother. Right? In Scandinavian, Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian, Moor, M-O-R, means mother. Yo. So many are people who don't know. In the dark. Lady Margaret was also called the White Queen. Even though she never became a queen and was married 4 times. White Queen, a camouflage expression to describe a high-minded woman who marries too many times or surrounds herself with too many men to gain additional or personal power. The title White Queen is also expressed to quietly overlook a woman's looseness with the hopes of tuning down public ridicules. The phrase white queen also represents a female Casanova, the opposite of a saint. Elizabeth Woodville, Mary of Scots, and several other European queens were addressed as white queens. Opposite of a saint. Today's white portraits of the Tudors are fakes, and throughout the centuries have been whitened with beige paint. Henry VII's granddaughter, Elizabeth I, was a dark-skinned woman like her mother, Anne Boleyn, who Henry VIII, the son of Henry VII, beheaded. The Venetian ambassador, the Honorable Giovanni Michiel, described Elizabeth I as having swarthy skin, and she resembled her father physically more than her sister Mary. And we were thinking about how, with when they talked about all the portraits being fakes of all these different kings and queens of Europe or whatever that they show as European people. That all those are fakes, and it reminded me of when there was an Ashra Kwesi tour when they went to Egypt or whatever, and they were showing how there was two statues, or two hieroglyphics or something, and one of them you could see that there was a split in it, and one of them was, you know, like fabricated, and it didn't match the other side when they were like reading the stuff or whatever, right? And then the pictures on one side, I think it was a statue. The statue on one side, like the nose was like redone or whatever like that. You could see like the line where they hit the nose off and put a new one on. But then there was another one next to it that it was regular, how it originally looked or whatever.
Right.
You know, but the idea of them going around, and they were doing it also in Iran or whatever, when they were all the Zoroastrian stuff they were breaking up or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a photo of it, his face is distorted, but his complexion is dark.
Yeah.
Then they remastered the picture, nothing like it.
Nothing like it. Yeah. Yeah. During the Renaissance, which means rebirth or change from the original, either in style or appearance, the emerging lighter noblemen overthrew the declining darker ruling class, and after achieving such feat, began to boast of their victories and white complexion as being the world's highest splendor of prize. During the Renaissance. It became highly popular during the Renaissance to look completely white or pale, since most royalties of that period looked black, brown, creamy, or biracial mulatto. The long-awaited period had finally arrived, where the European Moorish black appearance had ran its course in demand for a lighter rulership. Gradually, both genders of the darker nobility class voluntarily selected a lighter spouse to bear children. It's good, girl. Your friend, yeah. Your friend. This work. That's good.
Eddie.
The whiter appearance slowly dominated Europe, which had been ruled by a darker people from prehistoric to 1848. The whiter appearance slowly dominated Europe, which had been ruled by a darker people from prehistoric to 1848. Today's ruling families of Europe are merely a light-skinned, watered-down Negro people who descended from once darker inhabitants. Many portraits by the thousands, if not millions, were happily repainted whiter to delight those who wanted their darker ancestors to look like them. Portrait alteration became a fashion, even until this day. And then it has a footnote to look up ancient bronze images of Europe. King Philip II of Spain, and then that also plays into the whole hiding the stuff in plain sight. That majority of the artifacts would be bronzed, which would represent the people. Not, you know, you're not gonna find silver statues of stuff, you know. Elizabeth, like her sister Mary I and cousin Mary of Scots, was overwhelmed with dark-skinned men. One of her favorite lovers was Robert Dudley, who was nicknamed Gypsy, a generic term to keep from saying Negro, Ethiopian, or Egyptian, because of his African black complexion.
What are you doing? Get over here.
Because of his African black complexion. She was also close to Sir Walter Raleigh, who was a dark-skinned man. Both men, modern portraits are distorted.
You think you're going to try and hide over here?
Playing hiding right now?
Yeah.
You get buff, girl. You get buff. George I. The Moorish German Protestant George I inherited the English throne from his distant cousin Queen Anne Stuart in 1714. He was the first sovereign of the British House of Hanover to rule England. The king's blood traces all the way back to the Scottish King Kenneth of Niger, through the Moorish Scottish King James of England. King James' swarthy-skinned daughter Elizabeth of Bohemia was the mother of Sophia, who married the German elector Ernest Augustus of Hanover. From this marriage derives George I, who became the father of George II. In AD 1727, George II succeeded his father and married Caroline, the mother of Frederick Louis, the father of George III. King George I is the sixth great-grandfather of Elizabeth II. The swarthy King Louis XIV was of African descent through the Medicis, who ruled France and Italy. Louis's body was exhumed in 1793 and reported by the French National Museum of Monument to look black as ink and well preserved. Charles Edward Stuart married Louisa, Countess of Albany, a tall, black-skinned, pug-nosed woman. His brother, Henry Benedict Stuart, became a cardinal in the Catholic Church. Following their deaths ended any further hopes of restoring a Stuart to monarchy. The chorus of the song Blackbird, first sung in AD 1651 in honor of England's future King Charles II, who was as black as an ace of spade. The black boy Charles II was the uncle of James Francis Edward Stuart and cousin of Sooty Louis the 14th. Yeah, S-O-O-T-Y.
Sooty, eh?
Sooty. Sooty. He's Sooty. He's a black Sooty. The Moorish Protestant George II inherited the throne from his father George I in AD 1727 to 1760. The king's genealogy is traced all the way back to the Scottish ruler Kenneth Niger Duffy, Black or Dub, through the Moorish Scottish King James VI and First of England. King James' dark-skinned daughter Elizabeth of Bohemia became mother of Sophia, who married the German elector. Oh, you read that one. The Negro rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. Dr. John L. Johnson, Dog Sooty. Queen Sophia Charlotte. Her Majesty Queen Charlotte, who was descendant of a Portuguese Negro Moorish family, was the wife of George III, mother of 15 children, and grandmother of Queen Victoria, through her fourth son Edward, who was Duke of Kent. Sophia Charlotte was the first English queen to reside in Buckingham Palace. It was purchased by her husband George III. Today's history books has concealed many black queens of Europe, such as Anne of Brittany, the black wives of Henry VIII, who were Catherine of Aragon, Anne Boleyn, and Anne of Cleves, and Catherine Howard. Anne of Bohemia, the swarthy wife of Richard II, the black French queens, Catherine de' Medici and Maria de' Medici. The feminist name Charlotte indicates darkness, since Char of Charlotte means darky or black, the same as charcoal. 96% of all European and American filmmaking regarding an early white European rule is fake. What the world perceives as an ancient white European civilization was in reality Negroid. The truth is generally the opposite of what is generally believed. And then there's this part talking about the unyielding truth. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer stated all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as self-evident. At the dawn of history, the human race in waves migrated from the continent of Africa to remote regions of the earth. Those early explorers were the first to settle in Europe as well as other lands. They invented man's first tools, weapons, art of hunting, domesticating animals, the wheel, plow, agriculture, irrigation, sculpture, drawing, paintings, chess, paper, steam engines, engineering, architect, skyscrapers, pyramids, banks, post office, etc. an achievement which the rest of the world embraced to construct its own civilizations. According to scientific research, through carbon-14 testing, the earliest artifacts and skeletal remains on all continents and islands belong to the people of the Negro race. Only in latter millenniums did the newcomers evolve out of the original people of Earth. The black Moorish monarchs of Europe brutally inflicted a cruel slave apartheid upon the disadvantaged and innocent whites.
Here, come here. Hey. Come, girl.
Their genocidal, inhumane atrocities were severely imposed without a measure of mercy, and can only be compared with a reversed apartheid placed upon the Africans many centuries later, a retribution for the inhumane treatment placed upon Europe when Africa was its master. Had today's Negro avoided the process of being brainwashed concerning its own history, he would have understood that over 3 millenniums ago, the white man was under the black man's supremacy, and addressed the black man as master, my lord, sir, and imperial his majesty. The Bible phrases which indicates that slaves should obey their masters were first deceivingly applied to the peasant whites by their black masters, along with other scriptures. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal or lie, nor bear arms for self-defense. These same misrepresented tactics were deceptively practiced upon the Negro prior and after the African slave trade, and process used to perpetuate apartheid, which was invented by the black masters of Europe. It was during the French Revolution of AD 1789 that ended the black power dominance in Europe. The oppressed whites took the law into their own hands and reversed the cruel art of apartheid to punish the very blacks who invented its use. There were many royal black families who remained in power by whitening themselves and their children to soften the rage of the white revolutionists, and practice that continues to this day. It is plainly understood that a people who lack knowledge of themselves becomes a burden to themselves and human progress. It is plainly understood that people who lack knowledge of themselves become a burden to themselves and human progress. Most world leaders and academicians are well aware, of a once African supremacy of Europe. Nevertheless, to protect their honor, pride, or pseudo-Eurocentric views, their beliefs are systematically kept from the public. Footnote: blacks in Hollywood and other movie industries continue to whiten themselves to win the favor of whites. The Africans constructed huge European castles and pioneering the idea of building great churches and academics by which the modern world is built. The Negro Africans educated the world in science and writing. They mastered the 7 arts of civilization. There were no lamps in London, or even paved roads in France, Greece, and Italy. 96% of all European and American filmmaking regarding a white European rule is fake. What the world perceives as an ancient white civilization is actually Africoid. The French essayist and moralist Jean de la Bruyère, 1645 to 1696, commented, "The exact contrary of what is generally believed is often the truth." How many questions or comments?
Are you good? Hey, get over here. Get over here now.
That's what the In the Park series is all about.
In the Park series is about serious getting it in.
Oh, remember Dior off of the edge?
Oh, I had to think. Minus 40.
Dior in the lake.
Minus 40, yo. Came up freezing. Leap of faith, yo. The African sacred books of Ethiopian and Egyptian has revealed events of people, places, and things which thousands of years later are found in every European Bible with deviant character names. Today's Madonna or Mary was merely the African ascet, Isis. The virgin child Jesus was Horus, and Osiris, Asar, or Ra. The God of the universe is today's Yahweh, Jehovah, Elohim, or Elohim. The beginning of man's religious concept was first introduced to the Negroes by God himself. From the Egyptian religious system derived the Negro Canaanite Baalism, whose name has changed from the Egyptian Osiris to the Canaanite El, or Elyon, meaning the Most High God. Melchizedek was a Canaanite priest of Salem, Jerusalem, the chief city of Baal worshipping. In the beginning, the Baal religion was not a pagan worship, as long as the Christ-like Melchizedek and the Canaanites followed the principles of God El. Remember, the priest Melchizedek was pre-Israelite and only preached to the indigenous Negro Canaanites. There were many God-fearing Canaanites before and after Abraham who worshiped God Elohim: Rahab, Uriah, Abadani Bezek, Joshua 2, 2 Samuel, and Judges 1. However, following Melchizedek, the Canaanites swiftly swayed away from the one God El to polytheism, many gods. They formed their own system of worship and used God's name, whom during that same period was also called repentance, before denouncing the once divine Baal religion. So it goes on and on. And on, just qualifying that point of our rulership, Scotland, British Isles, and pretty much covering all of Europe. So the Negro rulers of Scotland and the British Isles.
You know what, I'm just thinking, all these books that are being published, authors writing off these books, I never once mentioned like Israelites or Israelis. It always has to do with Moors, right? Like every book that's dealing with our origins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's always something Moorish or more. I never heard no Israelites or nothing.
No. Actually, since you mentioned it. Peace. What's good? Chilly?
That's right.
I hear that.
Hello, how are you? Good?
Islam. It was gonna drop, but he just dropped it.
You dropped it already?
Sleeping. I can see him sleeping right now.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, we'll touch since you just brought up the Israelites. They have a part in here called the Negro Israelites.
What's going on, Chief? What's going on? You need your bed. It's back there. You really left him.
That's good, yo. This man's sleeping. The Negro Israelites. before the existence of a white, red, or yellow race, including a white Jewish people, there was first a black man and woman, whom throughout the millenniums migrated from the motherland of Africa to every other continent and island of the globe. The Negro family of nations was in existence long before the birth of Abraham, who also sprung from the Negro race. When the Israelites first evolved upon the earth, there were already Negro people from previous Negro people. God himself endorsed this fact by addressing the Israelites as the children of Ethiopia and Canaan. Right? Right?
Say that one again.
When the Israelites, God himself endorsed this fact by addressing the Israelites as children of Ethiopia and Canaan. Ezekiel, Amos, and Jeremiah. So they're not their own nation and all that stuff. Yeah. None of that. You're Canaanites. You're Canaanites. So what?
We'll put the extra 5 in. Extra 5 in.
How much will we pay?
It's gonna be like it's $20 for two. That's a walk-in special. If you go in a bit cheaper. Nah.
Where's the Nomad?
I don't know. Things fine alright.
Oh, okay.
Let's just get the food here. See what happens, bro? You get suckered into this. It's going to be another hour.
Depends where it is. You just have to go meet them at the top of the 40 minutes.
Could be right here.
Yeah, 40 minutes. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, said the Lord? Have I not brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines of Caphtor, and the Syrians from Ker? The Cushitic prophet Zephaniah reached out for the Hebrew Israelites who lived throughout Africa. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. The Negro Israelites never ceased to intermix themselves with their Negro forefathers, for they themselves were Negro people of a previous Negro people. Right? So they're not just some Israelites that just came up, you know what I mean? Like, you came from somewhere else. Stop playing. Stop playing.
That should be alive right there.
Right? The tribe of Judah originated with Judah and his 2 Canaanite wives, Bathshua and Tamar. For centuries, the hybrid Judites intermingled their blood with every other Hebrew tribe, which in turn intermixed with the Negro nations of Ethiopia, Egypt, Punt, and Canaan, where the 2 people became a blend of one people. This same mongrel people from Africa and Eastern nations migrated to Scotland, the British Isles, and the rest of Europe under the single name Moor, meaning black or Negro. The same mongrel people from Africa and Eastern nations migrated to Scotland, the British Isles, and the rest of Europe under the single name Moor. The same mongrel people from Africa and Asia and Eastern nations, the same mongrel from Africa and Eastern nations migrated to Scotland, the British Isles, and the rest of Europe under the single name Moor. 2 of Noah's 3 sons, Ham and Shem, had for centuries mingled their seed. whereby becoming a blend of one people, whose universal identity became known as Moors. The ancient Moors are mentioned in Zephaniah, in the Old Greek Septuagint and Geneva Bible, but was removed in later versions. The Moorish Negro Stuarts of Scotland and England, who are the descendants of Kenneth the Niger, claim their lineage to go all the way back to the tribe of Judah, a tribe that was created by the hybrid Judah and his two Negro Canaanite wives, the daughters of Ham the Niger. This same tribe, like other Hebrew tribes, gradually re-intermixed or blended back into their ancestral African roots, the Negro families of nations which stretch all the way back to Noah, Neham, and Adham. The ancient Hebrews spelled and pronounced the name Adam, Adham, A-D-H-A-M, before Euro scholars corrupted the term to Adam, A-D-A-M. Adam is still spelled and pronounced Adham in Scotland and Arabia. The Hebrews also called the patriarch Noah Neham, before the Western clergy corrupted the name to Noah. How could mankind be so naive to overlook the ancient Hebrew desire to intermix and cohabit with their original Negro foreparents? Yeah, Neham was converted to Noah, and Adham was converted to Adam. And then we're just gonna go through this thing again. This is Obar. This is what you were talking about with doing the dictionary. Doing dictionary. So they have a vocabulary section where they have all the different names of what the people were called and their meaning. Right. So we'll just go through this again. Alpin, A-L-P-I-N. Alpine, A-L-P-I-N-E. A black Negro or Moor. The word Alpin goes back farther than recorded history. The name Alpin or Alpine has recently inherited few definitions. Black, very dark, a Moor. Celtic, an ancient black race of Europe, a Moorish people. Sinead, or Kinnaid, C-I-N-A-E-D. Handsome, born of fire, anglicized Kenneth. The name was popularized by the African black Moors of Scotland. Dark, black Negro, a Moor. Delano, a healthy black or a Negro man, a Moor. Donovan, a black or brown warrior, a Moor. Donnell, a short form of Donald, meaning a black one, a Moor. Donnelly, a black or a Negro man, a Moor. Donald, black Negro or a dark-skinned warrior, a Moor. Dougal, black Negro or a Moor. Dooley, a black or dark hero, a Moor. Doug, black, Niger or Negro, a short form of Douglas, a Moor. Dougal, a son of a black stranger, a Moor. Douglas, black Negro or Niger, derived from the word Douglas, meaning black, a Moor. Doyle, a black stranger, a Moor. Dow or Dove, black complexion, a Moor. Down, Negro, a Moor. Duana, the little black one, derived from the word dub, meaning a Moor. Duana, black, a Moor. Dub, black Niger or Negro, a Moor. Dubban, D-U-B-H-A-N, the little black one, derived from the word dub, meaning black, Niger, or a Moor. Dublin, originally called Dub, meaning black or black pool. Black Negro, a Moor. Duff, a black Negro or a black-faced, derived from the word dub, meaning a Moor. Duffy, a black-face derived from the word dub, meaning a Moor. Dun, black Negro, swarthy or very dark, a Moor. Dun, D-A-N, D-U-N, D-I-N, D-E-N, and D-O-N are equivalent of the Hebrew word D-N, a short form of Daniel. The name Daniel was called by the angel Gabriel, Hamudo. Hamudo means black, swarthy, Niger or nigger. In Hebrew, the name Hamudo means man. Man means homo, hama, ham in conjunction with Adham or Adam. Da of Daniel means father, whereas Niel of Daniel means black, Niger, nigger, or Negro. Kern, the little black one, a Moor. Kerwin, the little black one, a Moor. Colby, black or Negro, a Moor. MacAlpin, a black or Negro son, a black Moor. Son, MacDonald, son of a black, Negro, a dark-skinned warrior, Moor. MacDougall, son of a Moor, son of a black stranger. McDowell, a son of a black. McDowell, a son of a black stranger, a Moor. Moor, M-U-I-R, a black or dark-skinned person, a Niger or a black African Negro, a Moor. The Scottish historian McRitchie stressed that individuals using the name Moor and various spellings of the name Moor was of Moorish descent. How strange that today's preachers who confess to be experts on biblical issues fail to mention and explain the meaning of King James' last name, Stuart. The bibliography, African presence in early history of the British Isles and Scandinavia, Africans in Britain, ancient and modern Britons, ancient man in Britain, Black Britannia, black people in Britain, Celtic Scotland, global African presence, nature knows no color line, origin of the Anglo-Saxon race, England and the tribal origin of the Old English people, Scandinavian Britain, the Black Celts, an ancient African civilization in Ireland and Britain, the Black Western Europe, the Norse discovery of America, the story of the ancient race, and Sex and Race Volume 1. Knowledge is like the air we breathe. If we don't use it, then we'll die. The Negro rulers of Scotland and the British Isles.
I feel like that book was made just for our people to read.
Yo, it's crazy. Must have been. Must have been. You had any? You read a chapter this morning?
Did we?
No, did you read a chapter this morning?
No, I didn't. Missed. Falling. Easy in my bag. Number 8.
8? She's happy to be outside. Chapter 8, if you got your Qurans.
Now there's a real fight going on.
Jesus reveals to the people of their sinful ways. In all the cities of Orissa, Jesus taught. At Katak, by the riverside, he taught, and thousands of people followed him. One day, a car of Juggernaut was hauled along by scores of frenzied men, and Jesus said, "Behold, a form without a spirit passes by, a body with no soul, a temple with no altar fires. This car of Krishna is an empty thing, for Krishna is not there. The car is but an idol of a people drunk on wine of carnal things. Allah lives not in the noise of tongues. There is no way to him from an idol shrine. Allah's meeting place with man is in the heart, and in a still small voice he speaks, and he who hears is still ill. And all the people said, teach us to know the Holy One who speaks within the heart, Allah of the still small voice. And Jesus said, the holy breath cannot be seen with mortal eyes, nor can men see the Spirit of the Holy One. But in their image man was made, and he who looks into the face of man looks at the image of Allah who speaks within. And when man honors man, he honors Allah. And when man does for man, he does for Allah. And you must bear in mind that when man harms in thought or word or deed another man, he does a wrong to Allah. And if you would serve Allah who speaks within the heart, just serve your heart near of kin, and those who are no kin, the stranger at your gates, the foe who seeks to do you harm. Assist the poor and help the weak. Do harm to none and covet not what is not yours. Then with your tongue the Holy One will speak, and he will smile behind your tears, will light your countenance with joy, and fill your hearts with peace. And then the people said, to whom shall we bring gifts? Where shall we offer sacrifice? And Jesus said, our Father Allah asks not for needless waste of plant, of grain, of dove, or of lamb. That which you burn on any shrine you throw away. No blessing can attend to one who takes the food from the hungry mouths to be destroyed by fire. When you would offer sacrifice unto Allah, just take your gift of grain or meat and lay it on the table of the poor. From an incense it will rise to heaven, which will return to you with blessedness. Tear down your idols, they can hear you not. Turn all your sacrifice altars into fuel for the flames. Make human hearts your altars, and burn your sacrifices with the fire of love. And all the people were entranced, and would have Jesus as a God. But Jesus said, I am your brother man. Just come to show the way to Allah. You shall not worship man. Praise Allah, the Holy One. Islam. Yeah.
Got some meat to it, eh?
Yeah. Any thoughts on chapter 8?
Well, a multitude of them, but just that you have to do what you're supposed to be doing in life, but also you're supposed to be helping your brother man and your enemy and the person that you don't know. And in doing so, I think it repeats it in other chapters where it's not the work that you do for yourself, it's the work that you do for other people.
For others, yeah.
That gets you where you need to go, and that's really what we're here for.
Doing our best to assist others.
Yeah. So it reminds me of that, and then I think it also lets you know about sort of not sort of the idol worship thing that they talk about, sort of you know, showing, paying homage or praying
to the Holy One,
to some you know cross or some
whatever that external
thing,
that external that external idol, whatever that external idol is. You know, getting rid of all the idols.
Yeah.
And also too with the sacrifices. You know, the sacrifice or the altar to burn your stuff isn't for the doves and the grain and whatever else.
Just give that to other people.
Yeah, give that to the same thing that you're saying. Give that stuff that you're going to put on the altar.
Well, no, I think really in that statement he was sort of even going the next level where people think, well, I don't care what you're saying, I'm going to give my stuff to God.
Yeah.
And he's saying that the real God is the next neighbor or the person in need.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on chapter 8?
Is it on its way?
No, it's getting prep right now for those who need it.
We need that kneading.
We'll do chapter 9 next. So since we're waiting for the thing, we might as well do a long one. Chapter 9. Jesus attends a feast in Bahar, and here he taught human equality. The fame of Jesus as a teacher spread throughout all the land, and people came from near and far to hear his words of truth. At Bahar, on the sacred river of the Brahms, he taught for many days. And Ak, a wealthy man of Bahar, made a feast in honor of his guest, and he invited everyone to come. And many came, among them thieves, extortioners, and